I'm essentially the chief financial officer of the state. We are the accountant. We pay all the bills, pay all the employees. I procure healthcare for 250,000 people. We do a lot of random things, but I guess CFO is probably the easiest way to explain it.
Okay. That being said, give us the state of finances in Connecticut.
Yeah, well, after a long time of people saying Connecticut's best days are behind them, we've actually seen some big turnarounds, and our governor, Ned Lamont, deserves a lot of credit for that. He came in 2018. We passed a bipartisan budget the year before he got there that has basically set up some fiscal controls that are right now bearing a lot of fruit, in the sense that we've had 5 years of consecutive budget surpluses. We've paid off almost $8 billion of our $40 billion of pension debt just in the last 4 years. And we've got a full rainy day fund for the first time in the history of the state. And a lot of that is due to us just staying with these fiscal controls that are obviously bearing fruit right now.
And before you were comptroller, starting 2014, you were elected state representative for Connecticut's 98th district. So you're not new to this whole political thing.
Not new to the whole political thing, and I got elected really young. I'm the youngest person ever to get elected this job, so even though I look like I'm 15, I actually have been doing this for a little bit, and I'm in my first year of this job, which I like a lot.
Stuff.
All right, so I have a question that I have been asking for years and years. As I live in Westchester, I pay, like, my property taxes are a German luxury sedan, right? Every year. And I get that we have very good schools in Westchester, and I get that we want our firemen to get paid, and the trash is taken out. But there are also very good schools in New Canaan or Darien, right? And the taxes are like a third of what they are in Westchester. Is that just because of graft and corruption that New York taxes are so high?
You didn't get the luxury sedan for your county tax payment, are you saying? No. Listen.
Why is it so high? New York and New Jersey are so much higher than Connecticut.
Layers of government, right? We don't have county government in Connecticut, so it's municipal government. Some people think that's a bad thing, and sometimes it is a bad thing. But when you pay taxes to your town, taxes to your county, taxes to your state, it just adds up and adds up. We don't necessarily have the services that maybe you do in Westchester County, but to your point, we've got amazing schools. We've got local police and fire. We've got great quality of life. And I think with this turnaround that we're seeing, we're actually starting to see people move. 57,000 people moved from New York State to Connecticut last year alone. You're starting to see that migration for obvious reasons, but also the reasons you're talking about.
So what's your take on the state and local tax deduction? Donald Trump and the Republicans capped it at $10,000 in 2017, ostensibly to raise revenue on the federal level, but it seems like it was more like retribution for those states that didn't vote for him. Is it helpful to you? Does it matter to you? Do you feel like your state is paying its fair share?
I think it's a problem. I mean, I think that I don't dabble a lot in federal politics because that would consume my entire life. But obviously, I think that it's having an impact on our region. You just joked about the tri-state. It's a tri-state issue. But for us, a lot of what we see is, we have a lot of people that live in Fairfield County that work here in Manhattan every single day. And when that is adjusted properly, as we're doing now through these fiscal guardrails I'm talking about, when the markets are volatile, we actually save money, and it can't be spent by politicians, so that when things are not going well on the market, we don't have budget imbalance problems. And that is that fiscal guardrail that I'm talking about that's bearing a lot of fruit right now and helping us big time. But the SALT cap does certainly impact a lot of folks in our state.
So you mentioned that there are some people out there that feel like the best days for Connecticut may be behind it. I know maybe great financial crisis. I know a lot of people that I know just said, the hell with this whole Wall Street thing. I'm out, including, and they left the tri-state area. But that crystallized to me in terms of companies leaving Connecticut and going to other parts of the country. Where are you in terms of trying to attract corporate entities back into the state?
Yeah, for years, the model was, let's try to pay a company a lot of money to move headquarters to Connecticut. And I think now we're changing that a little bit to say, let's try to authentically grow companies in Connecticut. And we're seeing that a lot around biotech. Yale is a great resource for us, right? We're between Boston and New York. There's a lot of people who are starting to invest in that. And we're seeing tremendous growth right now with biotech and medical innovation. We obviously have Fairfield County. We do see companies, that have left in the last 10 years. GE left, for example, and that was sort of when everyone sort of said, "Oh my God, it's over." But you are seeing that growth coming back now, and I think that that's a testament to people just feeling bullish on Connecticut for the first time in a long time.
What are you doing for your employees? I'm about to go on 6 months of paternity leave.
Okay.
And when I tell people that, they are astounded that Bloomberg offers that. But of course, they also say then, hey, can I get a job at Bloomberg? Right? It attracts people, these kinds of policies, not just that. But I noticed that you've got some, reproduction policies. You've got some pharmacy benefits policies.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about?
Well, listen, I love the fact that we can sort of do things within that 250,000 universe that I oversee, which is all the state employees, their family members, the retirees. It's like a little bit of a petri dish where we can sort of experiment with what works. And we find that when you treat your employees fairly, you pay them well, you give them rich benefits that allow them to sort of feel like secure and valued in their job, they stay and they're productive. We learn that best from the private sector, right? Companies like this, where you treat your employees well, it's a good place to work, it's a good environment. If we can find out how to do that at a lower scale and with less money, we can get that job done. But it's Connecticut is a state that has paid family leave. So every single person in Connecticut pays 0.5% of their income every pay period towards a paid family leave fund that allows anybody in the state to take advantage of that, to take time off for a baby, to take time off to care for a sick loved one. And so far that has worked. And I think companies have said, actually, this is good because we don't have to pay for it. You're paying for it, or they're paying for it.
What are the biggest challenges facing Connecticut these days?
Getting rid of that perception is still a problem, right? And we don't want that to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we want to change that perception, which is part of the reason why the governor spent so much time talking about, hey, it's a new day in Connecticut. To give us a look. But I think we continue to look at our tax structure. This year, we passed the largest single income tax cut in the history of the state, which is a big deal and affects literally 99% of our filers. The year before that, we passed the second biggest tax cut ever. So with these surpluses, with this better fiscal management, we're not just paying down our debt, which we have a lot of, but we're also cutting taxes and trying to figure out a way to make sure that Connecticut is going in the right direction and give guys like you some optimism that maybe you should stop paying those crazy taxes in New York and come over to Connecticut.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. What about the transportation system? I mean, as you mentioned, a lot of women and men in Fairfield County work here, but also the whole Northeast Corridor.
Yeah.
I feel like right now is at a point where it could get better or it could get worse.
Yeah. Listen, the president just announced a couple of days ago he's investing a lot of money into infrastructure and specifically rail. That is going to help in Connecticut. There was 3 or 4 projects in that corridor itself that are going to get billions of dollars to help speed these trains up.
The House is looking at cutting Amtrak's budget by like 90% right now.
And this is the problem we have right now in politics, is that we don't have everybody on the same page about what are common sense things. If you live in this area, you should think that a train going faster and safely faster to Manhattan from Connecticut, Jersey, Long Island is a good thing for our
Boston,
national
DC.
Economy.
Yeah.
We have a thing in Connecticut called the 30-30-30. We want to get from Stamford to Manhattan in 30 minutes and from Stamford to New Haven in 30 minutes. That's going to cost a lot of money. But to me, the investment is worth it. But I took Metro North down here this morning. It was very quick. It was very easy. And we just want more people to get back on the trains. We lost some ridership.